Now, obviously, this story is developing literally. So let's talk about the religious aspect of this story, because it's a Sunday, isn't it, obviously? Now, this creature, I'm not going to use his name anymore, this creature was granted asylum because he was had converted to Christianity. And it was only the church vouching for that fact that meant he was granted asylum. Obviously, it doesn't appear to be the case. Scarlett, what do you make of the fact that the church seemed to have so much sway in this? I mean, we've got two former Home Secretaries come out and say they shouldn't be involved in these cases.
Well, it's a problem, isn't it? Because if you send a Christian back to a country like Afghanistan, you're sending them back to incredible problems. And so what people are really saying is this guy wasn't really a Christian because a Christian couldn't have done this. I mean, I don't think only a Muslim could have done it. I actually think that the problem... So it's a big problem because quite a lot of people come over and don't even convert, and they say the reason, you know, I'm running away is because I'm a Christian. So what are we saying? Are we going to start saying religion doesn't make a difference, or aren't we? I mean, hard cases make bad laws. To use this person to start saying we can't have the churches at all, we do have to understand that there is a real issue that Christians are persecuted in other countries, and therefore, do we send them back or don't we when they're escaping? And obviously, once asylum seekers know this, quite a few of them will say, well, I'm a Christian too. How do you police it? I think it's very, very difficult. And there is a real question about whether priests and vicars, who are so desperate for people to convert, that they're suckers.
We have had this problem before, as it's not a new problem. We had the person who tried to, or blew himself up at the entrance of Liverpool Women's Hospital, and also the thing that stabbed 3 people to death in a park in Reading. Both of those men claim to have converted to Christianity. Exactly the same as this case. What do you make of what's going on here?
Well,
David?
clearly their conversions are bogus, aren't they? And they're bogus asylum seekers, and they've probably come here through a number of safe countries and they shouldn't have even been allowed to land on the shores of Dover. And that's where we need to stop this from happening. As I've said many, many times, and we need to stop illegal military-age men coming across the Channel, landing in this country, push them back to France, and then we wouldn't have this problem at all. But it isn't surprising that people are saying the right things in order to be able to get to stay here, because if they can stay here, they're rewarded. They're rewarded with welfare, they're rewarded with hotel rooms later on, they get settled status and they can work and so on. But you do have an awful lot of NGOs who are deliberately training people with the words to say when they're in Calais and in northern France in order to be able to get to stay here and play the system. That is also a big problem, and that is grossly irresponsible. So I would take issue with these NGOs as well, that are training people to come and lie, and then so they can stay and potentially go and commit crimes like this.
It is interesting, Scarlett, that the Bishop of Liverpool did say that while he has seen many people who are claiming asylum convert, he hasn't seen any who have already got asylum convert. It does make you think that this excuse is being used a lot.
It does, but I do think that we have to be very careful to say that no Christian person would behave like that, because people behave badly, whether they're Christians, whether they're Muslims, whether they're people of no faith. So we don't know. But of course, as David said, I mean, if you want to claim asylum and you know that saying you're a Christian will do it, you do it, right? And so what I'm saying is, what are we going to do about this? Are we going to say we're not having it, and that you can come over and you can say that you are a Christian or you've converted and we'll still send you back? Or are we listen? I mean, it is a really serious thing. And mean, there's no point in blaming NGOs and things like that.
Absolutely, of course there is.
Can you let me finish, David? I let you say outrageous things without interrupting
I haven't said
you.
anything outrageous.
What I think
What have I said that's outrageous?
What I think is important is that we actually decide whether we're saying that being a Christian is a good enough reason to stay.
What have I said that's outrageous? Come on, let's go back to that.
That the army needs more masculine men, and not all these dreadful women, right?
Well, of course
I mean,
we do.
of course that's outrageous.
That was another segment. But yeah, that's true, actually. But, you know, going back to this...
It's not true. It's
Yeah,
not. It's absolutely...
the
so we
recruitment
don't
crisis-
want women in the army.
No, the recruitment crisis is mainly an issue of, like, young men are not joining because they see the army as being too feminised and too woke. So we need to encourage them to see the army, to see the armed forces as being strong and masculine. Absolutely, that would get more people to go and join the army. But that was a whole different subject.
It was outrageous, and I didn't.
This debate.
To be fair, we didn't give you time to come back on that one because we ran out of time. We had to go to the break. But I mean, yeah.
But to come back to this debate, I mean, it is some of the fault of the NGOs. They are responsible, they are set up, and they do get money from George Soros's operations to do this kind of thing and to train people who want to come to this country illegally with the right things to say. They need to be taken to task and they need to be stopped from doing that and telling people how to play the system, because they're not playing with a straight bat. And this is not fair and it's not right to the people who live in this country who are affected by people who come over.
David,
who are doing these kind of crimes.
What I'm saying is, so what do you want? Do you want to say being a Christian isn't good enough, right, and we'll send you back, or not?
I've told you what to do.
No.
Push the boats back to France and sort out the NGO, come out of the ECHR so we can deport people who are criminals.
Can we please talk about Christianity?
We have to be talking about Christianity.
Hold on, please let me finish. Is saying, if somebody comes over and says, I am persecuted because I'm a Christian, is that a good enough reason for them to stay?